The Freedom Caucus stood with the president, but your leaders didn't. They all voted. I mean, every one of the Republican conference's leaders joined in with the Democrats. What is going on in your party?
If impeachment is driven by these hyper-partisan interests, it will only further divide an already terribly divided country. Unfortunately, this is what we've already seen play out as calls for impeachment really began shortly after Trump won his election. And as unhappy as that may make us as Democrats, he won that election in 2016.
So here's my question, Lou. Why are Republicans, or any Americans, frankly, so surprised when Donald Trump does exactly what he said he was going to do?
And as unhappy as that may make us as Democrats, he won that election in 2016.
Real strength for our country means resilience at home, a more protected homeland, a restored manufacturing base, and prioritizing our border over borders that are 7,000 miles away from Americans.
This is not a wealthy country. People think America, you know, wealth, this and that. The Japanese are saying that. What a wealthy country. I mean, they're saying it and they're laughing. Country's losing $200 billion a year.
We ought to go in the next time they fire so much as a bullet at one of our ships. We ought to go in and take over their oil.
So here's my question, Lou. Why are Republicans, or any Americans, frankly, so surprised when Donald Trump does exactly what he said he was going to do?
And as unhappy as that may make us as Democrats, he won that election in 2016.
It is a bad thing for Republicans to look like we are more in love with the war lobby and the military-industrial complex than the policies pursued by this president that are yielding, I think, better outcomes for our country. We have to put America first in our foreign policy. That's what the president's doing, and frankly, my Republican colleagues should do the same.
Yeah.
And as unhappy as that may make us as Democrats, he won that election in 2016.
This is asinine, and yet we're seeing a third of the conference, less than a third, side with the president on this most important issue, keeping a campaign promise, as you point out, and doing the right thing, getting 1,000 of our troops out of a place they should never have been.
Yeah, Donald Trump will be the first president to end a Middle East war since George Bush the first. I mean, we are finally ending a Middle East war, and I think that's something that could pave the way to more foreign policy progress.
And as unhappy as that may make us as Democrats, he won that election in 2016.
Citing as if this is a game with the radical Dems on this issue, that they accuse the president of being rash in his judgment, and then they side with the Dems on this. The Republicans look like bloody, damn, cowardly fools.
Well, and Republicans also, unfortunately, are casting themselves as people who will be, you know, the kind of invade everyone, invite everyone party. I mean, I wish we were more focused on the U.S. border with Mexico than on Turkey's border with Syria.
New York Times and CNN have also smeared veterans like myself for calling for an end to this regime change war.
I think we've seen that Republicans that don't stand with this president are not viewed favorably by their own constituents, because the American people see how hard President Trump is working to fight against a corrupt Washington, and they see all the crap he's taken for it. And now you see it manifested in Adam Schiff's investigation, marked by secret interviews, selective leaks, false transcripts theatrically performed at committee hearings, and even lies about contacts with whistleblowers.
Our leadership walks over and gives the Speaker of the House a kiss on both cheeks and votes along with the Democrats.
Gross.
It's so stunning.
Do not give me that image, Lou, please. This is dinner time.
New York Times and CNN have also smeared veterans like myself for calling for an end to this regime change war. The slaughter of the Kurds being done by Turkey is yet another negative consequence of the regime change war that we've been waging in Syria. Many of the politicians in our country from both parties who have supported this ongoing regime change war in Syria that started in 2011. So really what you're saying, Mayor Pete, is that you would continue to support having U.S. troops in Syria for an indefinite period of time to continue this regime change war that has caused so many refugees to flee Syria, that you would continue to have our country involved in a war that has undermined our national security. You would continue this policy of the U.S. actually providing arms and support to terrorist groups in Syria, like al-Qaeda, HTS, al-Nusra, and others, because they are the ones who have been the ground force in this regime change war. That's really what you're saying. You know where I come from in Hawaii, many of you know we greet each other with aloha. It's not a word that means hello and goodbye. It actually means something much more powerful than that. It means I come to you with respect and a recognition that we are all connected. We are all brothers and sisters. We are all God's children.
I believe that perhaps I'm portrayed differently than I actually am. I believe I'm portrayed in a rougher sense than the actual product. And I hope that's true, because I hope the actual product is a lot more mellow than the portrayal.
And that may be his biggest asset of all. When people attack Trump, they reinforce the version of Trump that Trump wants people to see. And inevitably, that keeps Trump's name in the news.
That doesn't matter because I'm not running for office.